water.
Okay.
Okay.
We were just going to the water and now we're
I
not seeking the
know.
water.
I know.
Okay.
And the second one goes like, seek not water, seek thirst, till you overflow from high and the low.
I do not.
Questionable, but
Okay.
okay.
Certain things I do not believe in.
Okay.
Like Earth is flat. I don't believe in that. Word.
I promise I don't have any issues, okay?
Debatable.
Tangent here. But is it like, okay, your like, signals are very well connected. So you're receiving the messages without any hindrance.
Say.
Hello everyone.
Welcome to the second episode of Two Opinionated. I'm Nav.
And I'm Bhumika, sharing opinions you never asked us for.
So talking about opinions, what are we talking about today?
I have a book for you today.
Yes, I can see that.
It is the spiritual poems of Rumi,
Mm-hmm.
which are translated into English. And I was just reading it yesterday, and I came across 3 poems,
Okay.
which I feel are very interesting. And I want to read them out to you and see what you think about them.
Okay.
So
Sounds interesting.
I think so. Okay. So should I go?
Yep.
All right. The first one is your parched lips. Your parched lips is the message from water put into your lips that your thirst will lead you to us.
That suddenly made me thirsty. I want water now. Is there a story behind this poem? What?
I don't think there are stories. I think these are just like
passages?
poems or passages or couplets, and they are just translated. I don't think there is any backstory. They are open for like interpreting them in whatever way you want, and that's what I want to basically do.
I think this reminds me of that idiom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I know is it idiom? Is it a story? I don't know. The Muhammad and the water. Then Muhammad has to go to the water.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Or mountain or water?
I think it's the mountain.
Mountain.
Not the water.
See again, that was water.
This is water.
Muhammad,
that is mountain.
That is mountain. That is mountain. Yeah,
Yeah,
Muhammad
remember
is the
MM Muhammad Mountain. So
mountain.
yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, there are 2 more. So do you want to go one by one, or should I? Because I think they are obviously individual, but they are also like a set. Like you can look at them like a triangle and see what you feel. So do you want me?
Whichever way, take the lead.
Okay, I'll take the second one. Okay. The second one is seek not water.
Okay.
Okay.
We were just going to the water and now we're
I
not seeking the water.
I know.
Okay.
And the second one goes like, seek not water, seek thirst, till you overflow from high and the low.
So it's not about the destination, it is about the journey to the destination.
In a way. Okay.
That's nice.
And the final one is your parched lips from the thirst.
Okay.
Okay. And this goes like, your parched lips from the thirst are your guarantee that ultimately it will take you to the fountainhead.
I think this is the one I like the best because it is like, because you want it,
Yeah,
it means it exists,
we can say.
right? Because if you want something that has to, like, you can only want something that exists, right?
Yeah.
Or existed at one point, right? So that is kind of very comforting to know, like, yeah, you wouldn't really want something that doesn't exist, so like you will get it.
I didn't go there. Okay, I'll tell you my backstory of it, whatever.
Yes.
I went to take shower yesterday after like cleaning and everything, and I had ordered groceries to be delivered online. I had ordered groceries online to be delivered, and so I came out of the shower and I was like, I had washed my hair, so my hair were wet. And then I got a notification that the delivery driver left the gate open at the front, okay? And I was kind of irritated that I had just washed my hair, so I'll have to go out and I might get sick or cold. You know how it works, right? So I was a bit annoyed by that, but I was like, it's fine. I gotta go. Like, there is no other choice, right? And then I stepped out, and as I said, it was in the evening. I think I witnessed one of the best sunsets of my life. I am not kidding. Like, it was all orangish, pinkish hue, and it looked so incredibly pretty. And I was like, damn, that is something, okay? And then it got me to thinking, I would not have seen that because my curtains were closed. I was not like looking at the window. I would have missed such a pretty sunset if I would not have gone out. So yes, I was annoyed, and I was not happy about it, but as I went out, I suddenly was like very happy because I saw something so pretty, okay? So that's a backstory. Now, when I came back, I made my evening tea and I started reading this book. Yesterday was the first time I started reading this book. And then I came across these poems, okay? And I feel that they are very much a representation of what I went through yesterday. And I think I just, here they are. I felt like I lost the page. Because you know how it says, your parched lips is the message from water put into your lips, that your thirst will lead you to us. So, isn't it like everything happens for a reason theory? Like, he left the gate open for me to go out and witness something
that.
pretty.
Yeah.
So I was the parched lips, and I would not have realized that I'm parched if I wouldn't have been thirsty in a way, right?
True, true, true.
So that's how I kind of related it. And then the second one, seek not water, seek thirst till you overflow from high and low. Like, I could be like, why do I have to do this? Right? Why do I have to go out? I could have been angry and whatever. But ultimately, I was like, it's fine. I gotta do it. Like, I was not seeking something and I found something so pretty.
Yeah.
I know I'm like emphasizing a lot on just one small example of sunset.
But that's your experience,
Yeah.
which you are relating it to.
Yes. And then the final one, your parched lips from the thirst are your guarantee that they will ultimately take you to the fountainhead. So again, right? The lips were parched, which I didn't even know they were, but they made me witness something so pretty. So my whole interpretation of this was very related to how there is that theory of everything happens for a reason, the butterflies effect. It all kind of summed up, and it felt like that. Yes, that makes sense. Like, it does make sense. So that's that. But that was my monologue on it. What do you think?
See, the most amazing thing I think is how art is very subjective, because we looked at it from two very different perspective, but we still got to the same point,
Yeah.
that things happen for a reason. Or you eventually understand what the bigger picture is. You might not be able to understand it right away, but eventually there will be a period in time where it just clicks and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense, right? But for some reason, which page was it? The third one, I absolutely love the third one. It just makes me feel like it. You remember that quote, if what you are seeking is also seeking you?
Yeah.
It kind of remind me that, because sometimes I wish for things which I haven't really seen or felt, right? And then I question it to myself, would they even exist? Right? But reading something like this, and I know it's just a poem, but then we relate a lot to art,
Yeah.
and then me just seeing something written and just like, what, if I can think of it, it probably can exist. So
Yeah.
it just feels very comforting. I think it's gonna be my favorite poem for a while now. Thank you for introducing it to me.
It was a gift to me. The book is a gift, and I started reading it yesterday. And
Yeah.
there were a couple of more actually that I really, really like.
Yeah, I mean, Rumi was a really great poet.
One of the greatest we have
Greatest
had in the
ever.
history. Yeah, I agree. I
The
agree.
OG goat.
Yeah,
So,
but you know how you were saying that we ultimately arrived kind of at the same conclusion, even though our approach to it was very different. Isn't it very similar to how we have that there is one destination and there are
we'll keep that blah 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 for the bloopers. we'll title the reel, "Watch us crash our brains out." And then we just have pictures of us just going insane. Okay. Like we're crashing out.
So, do you think it's very similar to how we say that there are multiple ways to one destination and you can take either, and then also while you are on that journey, you can make your own choices and everything, and then you lead to the destination? It's very same vibe, isn't it?
This reminded me of another poem,
Okay.
which is kind of on subject but kind of not on subject. So, have you read The Road Not Taken?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, your destination, you can take any road to get there, but you can also pave your own.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, kind of the same thing.
Kind of very similar. Yeah. I do want to ask though, do you believe in like the butterfly effect, or as they say, everything happens for a reason?
First, I love butterflies.
Okay.
I'll follow them anywhere. So
Okay.
obviously I believe in butterfly effect. Second,
So that's your only rationale for believing in butterfly effect?
I think that's the most important rationale I have, but I have others.
Okay.
But that's the most important
Okay.
because I stand butterflies.
Okay.
You know, very off topic, but I was interviewing for Indigo. Remember when I wanted to work in a bookstore, right? So I was interviewing for Indigo, and then they asked in the interview very randomly, like, if you could be any bird or animal or anything, what would you be? And and everyone was thinking it was like a group interview kind of, and I was like, immediately, like, immediately. And he was like, the interviewer, like, what would you be, right? And I was like, butterflies. And he was like, why? And I'm like, I like them. Like, why wouldn't I be a
Fair
butterfly?
enough. Fair enough.
But um, on the more serious note, I think I would describe myself as a believer. I believe in everything.
Okay.
Okay, certain things I do not.
Questionable, but
Okay,
okay.
certain things I do not believe in.
Okay.
Like Earth is flat. I don't believe in that. Birds are drones. I don't believe in that either. So, like, not in those things. But if you talk about, I mean, you have to make it clear, okay? Okay, you have to make it clear. Okay. So, but if you talk about, my favorite theories, butterfly effect is my favorite theory. This red string of fate is another one of my favorite theories.
Okay.
So if it's anything that is, related to things happen for a reason, or there's a bigger picture to it, or universe is always helping you, and there's a supreme being we call God. We call different names or whatever, universe, God, other powers, whatever. That anything mystic, fun and magic, I believe in that. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So what I am hearing is that you are a very firm believer of butterfly effect, not just because you find them pretty, but also because you have a rationale for it.
Yeah.
Did something happen?
Life experiences. I
Yeah,
have
that's
life
what I was going to
experiences.
ask. Like, did something happen? Do you have any experiences that you can share that would make you be like, yes, I do believe in it?
I mean, let's talk about this very instant. We're
Okay.
sitting here right now. We're recording our episode and everything. This wouldn't have happened if my roommate wouldn't have moved out at the moment she moved out when you were here.
Yes.
She was she was getting engaged. They were in process of buying a house and everything, right? A day later or sooner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been you. So that is very small
Example.
But then this is also like very current example, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I can pinpoint the exact moment in time so many times where I made a decision which completely changed my life. Which, if I wouldn't have made those decisions, right? Very small, tiny ones. Another example I have for you is so in 2023,
Okay.
I wasn't looking for a job or anything. There was nothing going on. I was kind of okay where I was. I wasn't wanting. I hate change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And yes.
So if I don't have to, if I'm not put in the position to, I probably will not change. Right?
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with wherever I am. So I was okay. I wasn't super happy at my work, but I was also, dreading the change.
I remember that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was so one day
Hmm.
it was just a conversation, some conversation happening at work, which I don't think so I legally can say that.
Well,
But
let's just say that there was some conversation happening which made you uncomfortable.
that made me uncomfortable, and it was just very like a second decision, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna do it. And it was just like just a little what call it, what is the word,
Friction.
no, when you put the fire and then there's like just a little
Ugh.
ug
Flame.
flame, little flame. I forgot.
This is a blooper.
No, my ears were like this. Okay, so there was this little flame in my heart that, but I might just try something. And would you believe, within 2 weeks, I applied to maybe like 2, 3 jobs.
Okay.
And I got called for all of them.
Yes. Yes, I remember that too.
And I got multiple offers too.
Mhm.
And then I was in the position where I had to pick one,
Yeah.
right? And obviously, I picked where I'm working.
Mhm.
But would you believe, just that 1 second that
Yeah.
was in my mind, from past year,
Mhm.
my brain has so much free space because I love my workplace. I love my coworkers. I love how everyone is chill.
Mhm.
Like, we get along.
Yeah.
There is no drama. And genuinely, my workload has reduced so much because there is no drama, which I don't have to manage it, right?
Mhm.
So my life has changed for so much better, and I wouldn't have done it if I wouldn't have just stumbled onto some conversation, right? And see, again, that I would say is a butterfly effect, because me hearing a conversation to me a year and a half later, just sitting here, and I think we are able to do this also because I have free brain space.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
so I
agree.
would have been able to do it if I was at my previous job, because
Yes.
I didn't had any time.
Yeah,
Right?
understandable.
So like everything that happened since, my life has only gotten better and better.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
And it
good
was just
for
a conversation that led to it.
Again, everything happens for a reason. That's
Exactly.
because, okay, I don't know if I have said this out loud, but I am a very firm believer of this. Like, my whole entire life
Yeah.
is based upon, like, everything happens for a
For a
reason,
reason.
on butterfly effect, and there is a reason behind everything and every action. So I am living example of that. I have a very good example of this that I can share. Okay. So I think it was during COVID. I was just experimenting with like making reels and posting reels because everyone was right. That was the peak content creation time.
Right.
So I just made a reel one day of some books. Okay, like you know how there was that song which goes like, I want this, I want that, I want this too, something like that.
Is it Ariana Grande?
I don't know. It was all like, I want this, I want that, I want this too, something in that
I
vibe.
think I know the song, but I'm not able to remember it. But
Yeah,
I know the song.
me too.
Yes.
So I basically made a reel which went like, I was like not throwing in a bad way, but like putting books on
The Indian in me.
yeah, not throwing in bad way, but like
Yeah.
I want this too. Like I was just I made that reel basically, okay. And then there is this I would say blog writer, recipe developer, and she's basically involved in the creative field. Her name is Raj, and I think her Instagram handle goes by Pink Chai. So she stumbled on that reel and she just commented that, oh, I love this. This is one of my favorite books. Okay. And before that, I had not heard of her. So I obviously went and stalked her on.
As a normal person would.
Like everyone does that, okay?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and like basically looked at her profile and I loved what she did, okay? She was bringing forward like cultural things. She was bringing forward recipes from Punjab and Punjabi. So I kind of connected with her content and I started following her, okay? And then couple of months went by. And one day she posted a story which was about a girl called Harpo. Okay. And then it was about, why are you smiling?
No, because now I'm connecting the dots. Before I wasn't. I was like, I don't really know, and now I'm like, okay, now I know where this is going.
Right? And
Yeah.
then she posted a story about Harpo, which was something about what she had done, and she was like, "Oh, I'm proud of my friend." As a result, I stalked Harpo.
As a normal person would.
I promise I don't have any issues, okay?
Debatable. Very debatable.
No.
Define issues.
I don't have issues, but okay. So I went and looked at Harpo's profile, okay? And then I loved what she was doing. So she's basically this, I'm pretty sure who are listening to us, most of them know her. But
she is
she-
the vibe.
she-
She is the vibe.
She is it.
Yeah.
Basically, right? And so she basically is from Surrey. She has a podcast called Brown Girl Guild. She is involved with an organization called 5X. At that point, she was the journal manager for them. Now, I think she's the director. So she is again involved in media, very focused on bringing forward the South Asian culture. So, again, very much my vibe, okay? And out of the blue, I just messaged her that, hey, I came across your profile through her, like through Raj's story, and I'm loving your vibe and I'm stalking your profile. I told her that, okay? That makes it less problematic, I think.
I don't think so it's problematic if you admire someone.
So she was like, yeah, stalk away.
Yeah.
So we kind of just connected on that, okay? And then I got to know that she hosts a podcast. And then I listened to that podcast, and it is all things about brown girls and the guilt they carry, the issues they face. And I was like, damn, she's doing great work, okay? And then I reached out to her. I was like, hey, I want to work with you. I want to learn from you. I do not care about in what capacity or role you have for me. I just want to look behind the scenes and learn how you do it, okay? These are my skills. I am a writer. I can offer you this. Like, I basically gave her my resume. And she liked it. And she was like, let's chat, okay? And then we talked, and I did end up writing blogs for her website. And then she told me that I love your work and I love how you do it. And I want to bring you on as a writer to 5 Express, which is the digital South Asian magazine, okay? And then I was like, sure, like, why not? Why would I say no to that? Like, why would I say
Why
no
would
to that?
anyone? Yeah.
Right? And then I started writing for 5 Express. So, and then there were several other things that happened. Like, this story can go on for a long time. But if I look back at it, see how many things are like, oh, I did this, and then that happened. If I would not have just experimented with making reels, if I would not have posted that reel, if Raj would not have commented on that reel, and then I wouldn't have followed her, and then she wouldn't have posted about Harpo, and then so much more. And today, wherever I am in my career, professionally and personally, all of these things and all of those roles that I have done. In fact, one of the current things that I do, which I work with Roshni Wellness, right? She reached out to me because she saw my work with Brown Girl Guilt and 5X and everything. So it literally blows my mind. Everything is
started from a comment.
It started from a reel.
Right.
Like my creative journey in Canada started from a comment. Can you believe that?
Actually, my creative journey also started with you.
How?
I mean, not the writing part.
Okay, how? This is interesting.
Yeah, because this is also the butterfly effect, no?
Yeah.
Because remember, you got paint.
Yes. Yes,
Right?
yes. Okay, I know where this is going, but they don't. So please.
So, like, when you got paint and you were doing something, and I was just existing next to you on the sofa while you were doing it. I was like, you know what? Looks mildly interesting. Let me try it too, right? And I think I tried all of your stuff, and then I was like, you know what?
I like it.
I like it. And that was what, like 4 years ago?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. And I have like a wall full of painting.
Yeah.
So
Now you are a painter.
I
Let's put it out.
Yes,
She's a painter
I haven't sold anything yet.
because she does not tell it to people. So you reach out to her, okay?
No.
Yes.
Anyway, so I mean that is also like a small little thing can leads to like so much.
And I remember when you started painting, because
But no, before we go to the other story, you haven't done all, like, you haven't listed all the things that you did after that, because I can list it for you.
it's fine. That's not what the episode is about. This is not a.
Again, it was like that opened so many ways.
It opened
Right?
way too
And
many doors for me.
it also grew you as a person,
Definitely.
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
It put you into the circle of people who were amazing and working on the craft, and that gave you the motivation to do
Yeah.
so. I don't think so. I think I said wrong. I don't think so. That gave you the motivation because you already did wanted to do it. That's why you got involved in that first place. But I think that gave you like a push.
It definitely did.
Right?
It definitely
Which was
did.
much needed.
It was
Yeah,
much needed.
much needed.
Because I used to look at all of those things as a from a far away.
Yeah.
And I was like in awe of it. Okay.
And then someone is like, put you right there in that, right?
Right. Sometimes I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That the rooms that I used to look at with such awe that, okay, these people do this.
Yeah.
I am in those rooms now.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind.
And it just starts with a very tiny little thing, which looked very non-consequential at that. That looks very non-consequential. I cannot say it.
Non-consequential.
At that moment. That's such a sad thing that I know so many words. I can read so many words, but I can't say so many
It's
words.
okay. We
I
all
need a
have.
speech therapist for sure. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on. But no, yeah. See, I always was into creativity, right? Like I published my book in India.
When you were?
I think I was in grade 10.
Yeah.
It was my grandfather, so
It
my
was.
biggest fan ever to exist.
I know. I think it was 10th is
So it would
12
be
years, 13.
so it would be around 2010.
I don't know what age you are when
So when I
14, 15?
16, 16, I was 16. I was 16. So
Yeah.
I was always into art and creativity and everything. But in India, I had still figured out like small ways of doing things. But moving to a completely new country, I did not understand the culture of it.
Yeah.
I did not know how things work here. How is everything like organized, right?
No,
So
it's hard to find your place.
exactly,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
But I have to say that this city and this country accepted me with open arms
Yeah.
because I am so fucking happy. Sorry, can't say fucking.
No, you can actually. I checked.
Okay. I am very happy being where I am.
Yeah.
And this couldn't have happened without the butterflies effect.
I know.
If
See, butterflies, they bring happiness and joy everywhere.
And just to add one more layer to it, I was never planning to move to Canada.
Me neither. Look at us.
Well, I guess with the change in the frame, they can tell we took a break.
What a break.
But we left it off at saying how we both landed up in Canada, even though we never intended to. Right?
And wouldn't change that for a second now.
No, never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
My life changed. And it changed in so many good ways that I would not have it any other way. I don't think so. You're doubtful?
Not in traditional way.
Okay.
Not about the decision of Canada.
Okay.
Like, for example, if what was my life be if I would be in India, like whatever, then Canada 100%. But if I could change few more things before, like let's just say 10, 15 years ago too, like before I came to Canada, then I cannot imagine how that would be.
But aren't you then going against the whole phenomena that we are discussing here, that everything happens for the reason?
Yes, again, see, a very good point. But then again, we are human, and then there are so many bad things in the world which we possibly couldn't explain with whatever happens for the reason, right?
That is true, actually. As much as I very loudly said that I am a firm believer of this phenomena, I feel very conflicted when I see news about Palestine, or when I see news about farmers' protest in India, or when I see.
I mean, hunger, poverty, war, rape,
Yeah, exactly.
suicide, murder.
That's what I was
crimes,
coming at.
prisons.
All those words that are usually beeped. But that's when I feel very conflicted.
Yeah.
Like, yes, everything happens for a reason. We believe everything happens for a reason. But what is the reason behind someone being raped or an entire country being bombed?
Exactly.
I cannot I cannot come to a conclusion about that.
Yeah, me neither. And this is one of the reasons, like, kind of a separate conversation, but not exactly. Like, this is one of the reasons I don't believe in karma at all. Because I'm like, okay, some of the things you did and you're getting punished for it, I can get behind. But there's so many things that happens in one person's life. So I can blame it to any karma you would have done, they would have done, right? And in that way, I'm just like, no, this whole concept, I don't believe. It's a kind of the same thing that, sometimes thing happen. Like, this is the answer I give to myself because we are humans. I don't think so we will have an answer, right?
Yeah.
My answer to myself is sometimes things happen, they don't have any rhyme or rhythm to it. They just happen.
Yeah.
Would there be an explanation ever? I don't think so. It is possible in my this human life, right?
Okay.
But is there better be a better good explanation for it, right? But would I ever know the answers to everything? Probably not.
Probably not. That is true. I mean, after all, we are the mere humans.
Right.
But I try to look at it or understand it from the perspective of how, we have religious textbooks, especially in Hindu religion. They say that everything, good or bad, is happening with the will of whoever is running this entire ecosystem, if I may call it, right? Like there's this word of Urdu slash, I think it's used across several Muslim cultures, inshallah, right? And I try to understand it from that perspective that inshallah kind of means that Rab di marzi,
God willing.
God willing, right? So the scriptures and the textbooks, they say it in a way that even the bad things or the things that we don't really want in our society to exist for a reason, because that's his, her, it, they, whatever we want to call them, their way of showing that, this is not right and this is right. But as I try to understand it, but then my brain says, considering you are the ultimate powerful,
Omnipresent, omnipotent, everything.
Energy in this entire universe. Do you not have better ways to show us what is good and what is bad? But then again, I would be
See, again, I think the notion that we cannot question God, I don't really like it because it's the
me
our
too.
creator, right? So I think we can very honestly question it. Like, is this the best way you can do
Because
it?
wouldn't you question your friend? And if you really believe in God and if you really believe in the higher power, I don't think that higher power wants you to be scared of it. It actually wants you to be friends with it. Like, I always believe and say this, that fear and faith cannot coexist.
Cannot, yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you are fearful of something or someone, you don't really have faith in them. It's very similar to when we are young and we are scared of our parents. At that young age, we are scared of them. We don't really respect them. We don't understand the fundamental of respect, right? But as we grow up, that fear turns into respect. and also your relationship improves and you are able to have open conversation, like all of that, right? So similarly for God, I or higher power or whatever you want to call them, I do not think you cannot question them.
Yeah. I mean, you just unknowingly stumbled upon one of my very favorite topics to talk about, but
it is not the topic we're talking
it's
about.
not topic we're talking about. It's like how the duality of God, right? Like it's not good and it's not just good and bad. It's not one, right? I love discussing it about it and with proof because I got proofs and references to it. But that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so coming back. Yeah, it's very like it's just very.
See, again, for me personally, I do not believe that certain things, I genuinely do believe that certain things just happen without any reason or rhyme. Because for me, it's very hard to believe why couldn't we use some other methods, right? I think some things are just sprinkled in for the plot.
Okay.
Literally. Because there's no other way I can explain it.
In that sense, the whole notion of everything happens for a reason. Are you saying some things happen for a reason?
No. Everything does happen for a reason. Sometimes the reason is just enjoyment of God. That is what I believe. Everything happens for a reason, yes. But again, we are just mere humans, so we don't know.
In 1800s,
I would burn for
you would burn for this statement. This is blasphemy. In
1870, any century,
You'll get burnt alive.
I'll burn 10 times a day. I'll burn 10 times a day.
It's like blasphemy, burn.
Yeah, how many times would I get called witch, bro?
Sad times. Like sad we are laughing right now, but very, very, very sad times.
I think it's only now that we can laugh. Yeah. Kind of, right? Yeah. Oh, also like on the say that, oh yeah, we would also burn. Not that the burning was funny, right? No, yeah, like it was like, and to be honest, women still do burn for their opinions.
Too opinionated.
That's a very dark humor joke. This might not fly.
It would fly with the people it should fly with.
That was dark. Okay. Moving on. So everything does, but okay. Not to backpedal on anything. See, this is what I mean, that there is duality to everything, right? Yin and yang, good and evil. So in that way, right? Obviously, yes, we will have some bad and good. We cannot have, if we always would experience good thing in life,
we would not value the good of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Taking for granted.
Yeah. And if you just have sugar all the times, you will crave something spicy or salty, right? Yes. You cannot have just one flavor all the time. So bad needs to exist for good
to be valued,
right? But I also firmly believe this. There are some of the issues which are not like God, universe, whatever, that they're not created by them. It's man-made, right? It's our society and cultural issues, and it would be like very disservice to blame that all on God, because it's like just blame it on the guy, right? So it's in that way there are so many things that we also have to hold ourselves accountable for.
I agree,
because we cannot just blame everything on the big guy and be like, oh, we didn't do anything, he's the one who's doing it.
I mean,
because we also do have free will. No.
Couple of things I want to address here. First, if we can have man-made lakes, we can definitely have man-made issues.
Exactly.
But two things, okay? And I'm not saying I have an answer for it. This is also my dilemma. One is that on one hand, we say that yes, these are issues created by us, which 100% seems like it. They are created by us, right? But then the big guy, as we want to call him, why is he letting us do that? Because isn't it in his for fun? Don't say that.
No, I do have actually a genuine answer for this.
Okay, so the second point that I have is I read it somewhere that you know how we always say that God, it's up to God. Whatever you want, you do it, right? And then I read it somewhere. What if, like, there is a page, like, let's say there is a page for your life, like, there's a book for your life, and then, okay, this page, this day, and they're flipping, right? What if there is a day or there is a page where God is like, your will, like, whatever you say,
Yeah.
I'll do that, right? So I'm like, yes, it is a free will in that way. Like, how, as we said in the beginning, that the destination is the same, the way you reach it is different.
Is different.
For example, everyone, not everyone, anyone who practices spirituality or is religious has their own ways, but we all are ultimately looking for that same thing, right? So, in that sense, yes. But then again, my question remains, you are the most powerful thing out there. Why would you let that happen?
See, you did answer your question here. Well,
Okay.
according to me, okay?
Okay.
My opinions. So, how I look at it is that all, yes, it could be all powerful,
Mm-hmm.
but him changing each and everything that he thinks is right
Mm-hmm.
will not align with having free will.
Fair enough.
So, and we do know we have free will because we just talked about how, we made those decisions which led us here, right? And see, again, it's very complicated because see,
It's a paradox.
yes,
That's what I call it.
I was coming at that too. So it is. I do believe we have free will because we do make decisions how, and they shape us, right? And they shape our lives. So we do have free will. And if God would just be like, no, what, you know what, you are walking on a wrong path, I'm just going to pick you up and throw you here. Sometimes that is important. Sometimes that is what it is needed, right? But we get gentle nudges first, right? And if every time, see, if God would just take each and every decision for us, what is the point of us? Would we have any growth?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not talking about crimes here, but I'm just talking about just normal mistakes. If we don't make normal mistakes in our lives, would we ever learn? Would we ever grow as people? We wouldn't. Without free will, we wouldn't be who we are. And I do believe if God gave us life, it gave us life for a reason, right? To understand, to live, to see this world, to experience ourselves. And we wouldn't without free will, and we wouldn't without the bad, right? So is he all, both things could be true. Is he all powerful? Yes, but there wouldn't be point managing each and every person's each and every decision, because it would be redundant to have a life then, right? And coming at other things, I do also believe in destiny. Let me explain how.
Okay.
So what my belief is, how I see and understand world is, there are some things, some people, some moments that you are tied to. Bound, those things are bound to happen. You cannot change those, and you cannot escape those.
Very similar to all those fascinating movies, fiction movies, not fascinating movies that they make and be like, can you go in the past, or someone comes from the future, they try to change it, they still end at the same outcome every time.
So that's why I said, like, we have a bigger picture. All of us individually have a bigger picture, and the world in general has a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So the paint strokes on that bigger pictures are gonna happen. How you take it along the way, that is up to you, right? So we are bound to meet some people obviously in life, right? And that's the whole reason, like, I'm so interested in the learning what's gonna happen and everything, any kind of prediction, like, but at the same time, it is the art it is art to live a life without knowing anything. It is so freeing if you actually do it, if you just stop worrying for a second, right?
But that is what spirituality tells us, actually, that you live in the present moment, not in the past and not in the future. And living in the present moment is essentially about not worrying about anything.
True.
Right?
But then again, we cannot see in the context of things we exist. Like, it is very hard to balance the things that you know you should be doing. And I don't mean just like career wise or personally or something, but as a society, because we do have obligations to the people, we communities we live in, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it is still very, so it's in Gurbani, I can't remember the exact verse, but it's mostly like, you do the effort, karam, and then you just don't, you forget about it, just completely forget, do what you are doing and just forget about it.
So it's very similar to the proverb that goes in Hindi, which is like "Neki karan darya mein daya." So,
Exactly.
like, or if we have to translate it for anyone, like everyone almost listening in English, that you, for example, you do a good deed and then you forget about it.
Forget about it.
Like,
So,
as they say in Hindi, they say, like, when your one hand does a good deed, your second hand should not get to know about it. That's how discreet you should be.
yeah, and also the verse in Gurbani is not just about good deeds. It's about everything.
Mhm.
It is about you existing. It's
Okay.
about you did something, right? And that has happened. That's it.
Okay.
You did good. You again, like as I said, you have a social responsibility to your communities. Yes, you do. You walk the path. You do the things you're supposed to do. You go to work, you make a living, you be happy, you do the things you want to do, but at the same time you do them, and then you don't worry about the results or the consequences or anything that would be. We don't forget about those. So in that way, it's so easy to say.
I think what you are
Such an
trying
easy thing to say.
I think what you are trying to say is something that I try to follow in my life. And correct me if I'm wrong. But what I am understanding from whatever you said is that we land in the situations where we are supposed to be. And then once we are in those situations, all we have to do is intentionally show up and do what we are supposed to do. That could be something as simple as cooking food. That could be something very important as, let's say, catching a criminal. Or it could be something very minute as maybe helping someone with food or whatever it is. All you get to do is show up authentically in that situation and just be you.
Yeah.
And everything else would align.
Yeah.
And is that what you are saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect in it, but that's how I try to live my life.
And that's how I think, see again, and it would defeat the purpose of us even having this conversation in a way, because you go back to things are gonna happen the way they're gonna happen, right? But then if all we can do is analyze, look at it, and we marveled at what an amazing job it was to create this world, right?
I want to add one layer to it though. Like, we have discussed about destiny, we have discussed about everything else around it. Intuition. So, you know how people are like, my intuition is always right. There are some people who are like that, and then some are like, well, I don't even feel anything. Okay. I just had this realization while you were talking about God and Him letting us do what we think we should do, kind of. I was like, does that mean that when, as you said, He gives us a nudge? So, does that mean that when we are getting an intuition, it's Him giving us the nudge? And for people who experience intuition, and a very strong one and a correct one, compared to those who don't, does that mean the ones who do are more spiritual and more spiritually connected to that higher being, and that's how they are able to receive that I am going on a tangent here, but is it like, okay, your like, signals are very well connected? So you're receiving the messages without any hindrance?
Maybe I'll give you like an example of intuition. Remember I got into car accident last year.
How many times?
Let's not. So that day, right? I was running late to work, and see again, one thing about me, but just to clarify, even if I'm late for anything, I'm not driving rashly.
Yes,
I'm just like,
which is a very good thing.
5 more minutes, not gonna, like, I'm not saving lives. Anywhere I go, I'm not saving life. I'm not doctor. There's nothing life and death happening. I am not speeding.
Right.
Right. So I was running late and I was super sick. Like, I woke up with the extreme headache. I didn't want to get out of the bed, and that's why I was running late, because I was just like sitting there and staring at my ceiling and not wanting to get up. But still, and in my mind and my like gut kept saying, just call in sick. Just call in sick. It is fine. Just call in sick. Right? Or like work from home. Like either. Like, it was like my intuition was, do not get out of the house. Okay. But then I was like, not wanting, that thing of like wanting to be useful all the time,
capitalism one-on-one,
exactly, wanting to be productive, even if you're like
the hustle culture,
right? So I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's not gonna be super busy, maybe we'll just go and see. If I don't feel good, I'll come back, whatsoever, right? 3 houses down,
yeah,
and someone hit me 3 houses down. I didn't even get out of my street. How crazy is that? If I could have just listened and trusted and just stayed home.
Yeah.
Right? I was home after like 2 weeks because like they hit me and then my neck and back was, would it have been all fine if I would have just listened and not went out that day? Probably. Maybe. But then I also cannot just like keep thinking and keep mulling over it. It happened. Right? So it's same way. It is like, yes, if you listen to it, you might not get into as trouble as you do. But even if you do, the point is, let's move on.
Yeah, obviously you cannot keep on getting stuck on your mistakes.
But it's always a good idea to listen to your intuitions.
Yes, I have neglected it so many times, and I have ended up in situations that I would love not to. And every time I have listened to my intuition, like, I have gotten to know that, oh, this was the result of that. Yeah. If I would have done that, I would be that result, right?
And there's so many documented cases of this, that people following their intuitions have saved their lives.
9/11. There, I saw a reel about it. So there were so many people who, someone was running late, someone missed an alarm, like XYZ things happened, and they were all alive. And if only they would have reached like a minute before, 2 minutes before. There is actually a full documentary on this, that how so many people that day were saved because something happened.
There's something called burn toast theory, and it was on TikTok.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes, yeah.
So it goes something like this, that let's just say one day you were running late and your toast burned, and then you had to like take extra 2 minutes to just make another toast for yourself or something, right? And maybe that saved you from an accident or something, right? Like same as me. If I would have just listened, called in sick, or worked from home, I wouldn't have probably gotten into that accident.
Yes.
But it also goes like, if something bad is also happening sometimes, that
it is also for a good reason.
It might also be for a good reason.
I have an example of it, okay? So before the winter break, I was going to work. This is so funny, okay? I did not realize it was raining outside, and I very excitedly wore my new loafers.
In Vancouver rain. Okay.
In Vancouver. I did not realize it was raining, okay?
It's Vancouver in winters. What do you mean?
Anyways, I stepped out, okay? Yeah. And then I stepped out, and I had my bag and my lunch and everything, and it is pouring. It's pouring. And I slipped. My Uber was standing like a little before the house, so the driver didn't see me. My landlords weren't home. So there's no one
saw this.
No. Someone probably saw it because it was wide open. But no one was there to help me. And it is pouring down. My lunch and my bag and belongings are like that. And my knee is hurting so bad because I scrapped it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. And I'm like,
contemplating your life. This is it.
And I'm like, why? My vacation starts tomorrow. Why I gotta be hurt today? Got up and then went to work. I got up and I went to work.
It's the last day of work.
It's the last day of work, and right? And I went to work, and then I think about it, that what if I would have like not slaved and I would have sat in the car? Could I have gotten into a bigger accident? Could it have been something else? It was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of difference, but I definitely got saved from something bigger. I like to believe
possibly.
That's my only way to compensate with the pain.
See, this is the thing, right? We are human. We don't have like exact answers to anything. So
we run a lot on assumptions.
Yeah, we make the best of it and just see where it goes, right? And also, it's just like, it could have saved you from something bigger, most definitely.
Yeah.
And this is more to the point that some things are destined to happen.
Yes.
Right? And some things are just on your own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I guess in this episode, we went all over the place. We were all over the place.
It started from
okay. But I guess what we are essentially trying to say is, listen to your intuition.
Listen to your intuitions.
Everything does happen for a reason, but you have a say in it.
Sometimes the reason is just entertainment.
Yes. And all you gotta do is show up authentically.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
And don't worry too much.
Yeah, I guess. It's easier said than done, but yes.
But yeah, I mean, there is no point worrying. Like, tomorrow never comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's always today.
Yes. And, I love this saying. This is my favorite saying. I don't know who said it. I don't know where it comes from. But it's not original, of course. Like, we suffer more in our imagination.
Yes. 1,000 times yes.
Right? Like, we make all the scenarios. They might not even happen. Me included. Right? But we do suffer more in our imagination. So
I think this is a good note to summarize all of this, right? I have an idea to do that.
Okay.
We will randomly open a page.
Okay.
And see what it says. So we are going to take whatever we want to take from it, and whoever is listening is going to...
If it is bad, we do a take two, and no one really knows.
But it will be good. It will be good. Okay. Are we ready?
Okay. Ready.
Are we ready? Yes. Okay. Let's go.
I can read a bit of it.
Says, the title is, If You Want to Find Yourself. I mean, that is very ironic considering the entire discussion we had today. So it's a good one.
It's a good.
Okay.
Let's not say that.
So it says, if you want to find yourself, leave yourself alone. Okay? Wade in no little creek, swim in the big flow. It's very ironic. Okay, sorry. Swim in the big flow. You are that bull who carries the world. Revolt for once and topple the globe. So.
This was, but for people who don't read, but no, art is very subjective. I was gonna say, do you wanna explain? But art is very subjective.
Let them be.
Yes.
Let them do and take whatever they want to take from it. On that note, we really hope you liked the video episode because that's what all of you demanded. So we tried. We are learning. See you
next time.
Take care.
Bye.